is that they're really sturdy whenever they clamp onto the wire. So what happens is you have these levers that are. Hi, I'm Buddy. Welcome back to my channel, 2 Alpha Tools. Let me ask you something. Is this light bulb bothering you yet? Yeah. Unfortunately, that was the brightest light bulb that I could buy at the time that would really light up this third car garage area. But now that it's going out, or maybe a year after, it looks like I'm trying to start a rave party over here or something. Yeah, enough of that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to be installing a 4-foot LED dual light bar mega strip that should really light this area up. At least for the time being until I actually drywall and paint, because, you know, I'll do that eventually. But to help us out, we're going to be using these lever nuts right here. Look, it's the 20th century. Nobody uses the whole wiring wing nut system anymore, okay? I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to install this light and using these lever nuts. Before we get to the install, we're going to talk about the tools that we're going to use. First, we got a bit driver that we'll need, then a screwdriver, tape measure. You can use any type of wire stripper, pocket knife, whatever you'd like. I'm a pretty big fan of these automatic wire strippers. Electrical tape. And then I'm going to need, like, 20 or 30 times more of this, because I got an idea of how I'm going to install this LED light. These lever nut kits, I got this Amazon for like $10. Right now, you can get the Wagyu type, and these are basically just a knockoff. But look at how many lever nuts you get. What was that, 115? Yeah, 115 pieces. You can connect wires all over the place with these. These are 3. You got a 4, even a 5. You can connect wires everywhere. I like these things. Show you how we use them, because this is the light we're going to install. This is a Lithonia from Lithuania Lithonia Lightning LED strip light. I got it from Menards because, it's cheap and 11% off, of course. But let's get started on deleting that. Okay, remember that we're dealing with live electricity wires here. So, you're going to have to kill the power. You're going to have to find your circuit breaker box, your fuse panel, whatever you got. Hopefully it's labeled. And make sure that you kill the power to whatever outlet, whatever light socket that you're working on. Because it could be bad if you're up there working and somebody turns the power on. So, make sure that you kill the power. Okay, now that there's positively no way that anybody can turn the power on to this light, let's go ahead and get rid of this light bulb. Sure. You got 2 screws. Come on. Yep, right where I wanted it. 1. Oh yeah. Exactly where we needed it. Perfect. And now we got our assembly. Next, we got our happy and sad cables right here that we're going to need to disconnect out of this housing. Now, we'll leave that there temporarily. And let's get the light bar opened up. Let's see how much wire we're going to need and how we can install this thing. Dooba dooba dooba. Get this guy open. Uh-oh. That piece just fell out. That's good. I'm sure it was made to do that. Nope, definitely not. Here's our light. Why did they even send these? Okay. So now we need to measure here and here. Yep. And we got to see how much light we actually have. Or sorry, how much wire we have that we can work with. All you got to do is it has these little tabs right here. These open right up. And there we go. There is the inside of our light bar. Okay, so we have an old school map of wiring coming through here. And it appears that I'm going to have to do some fabrication, being all that additional wiring. So I've got plenty of wiring to reach my connection points up here. Let's get you up here and let me explain. Well, I guess it's time for an update. Where do I begin? So when I went to look at how to mount it, I realized that this bar right here for the garage door opener, there we go, right there. That stabilizer bar right there, or actually the mounting bar for my garage door opener, that has caused a huge issue, and it's been about an hour and a half of me trying to figure this out. But I got it. So, what's going on is, the way I have these mounted is through the center. Now, because of that bar right there, I cannot do that there. So the way this works is you have your punch out chips right here, and when you want to run your wiring, you just punch those out and then run them through. Now, these have two on each side, right there and right there. So depending on how you want to install yours, depends on which ones you want to actually punch out. The mounts are going to be the same length no matter what, but the way you mount it can also be different. For the other ones that I've got mounted in the 2-car garage, I actually used a board that I put next to a stud and then screwed screws into this all the way into the stud, and then the screws went through here and then through there to make sure that I had a really good mount. But on this one, because of the way it is, it's not going to work that way. When we get up there, I should be able to show you what I mean. So, the good thing is, I had some of these little wing nuts, butterfly nuts, laying around with one of these bolts to go through it that fits. So I had to dip into the consumables and dig through this whole pile right here for, I don't know, about 20 minutes to find this bolt. I found this bolt that apparently I had cut. So I'm assuming that I had this bolt together with these two. So I'm assuming I borrowed this bolt for something else. And this bolt was modified for something else in the worst fashion. So I got the kit, and I had to clean up the threads on that. So there's that. Luckily enough, for a previous project I had some old 14-2 wire laying around that I'm going to use to extend these through probably this hole right here. Yeah, we'll lay them over, lay them back. They'll go, and I'm going to punch this hole out and then run this through here, tie these ends with the lever nuts to this one. Now, with the Irwin wire strippers, it struggled with Romex, so I had to go to the Ideal ones. And this is why you have multiple styles, varieties of pliers. No, all pliers definitely aren't the same. Even though they look the same, they can be used for different purposes. And then, of course, I had to go to the Engineer pliers. These things are awesome. Now, since I'm going to be installing it on either this hole, probably that hole down there, I know that the end is going to be sticking out, or it's going to be away from the hole. So there's going to be a big hole right there. So I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other ones. And I cut out this puck by using just a hole saw bit on some drywall I had from the other job, and then drill my hole, and that's what my wiring is going to end up running through up there. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to put our lever nuts on there along with the wiring I have down here, put the puck in, run the wiring down, so that way we can install the base. So let's do that. Before we get up there, I want to show you how these lever nuts actually work. So what makes them so much better about using the traditional wire nuts is that they're really sturdy whenever they clamp onto the wire. So what happens is you have these levers that are up, and then you put your wiring inside there. And then when you close this lever down, there's a piece of metal that clamps down inside, and that holds the wire on the connector. And then you can put your other wire in that you want to connect to this wire. Again, another lever, and it closes. It clamps down on your wiring. It's the same theory that works for the Wago connectors. Like I said, that everything comes with, and these are very, very stout. These wires, they ain't coming out. They're not going really anywhere. There's a proper way if you're gonna do wire nuts to do it, but I'm not gonna go over it because this is what we need to be using. Now, if you want to use these plus electrical tape, which is probably what I'm gonna do, it's not a bad idea just for that extra security. But lever nuts is easier than wire nuts, and it's a way better way to do all of your electrical wiring. You like this video? How's a guy gonna know that? You gotta click that like button. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Alright, back to the video. So as you can see, I've got my lever nuts already installed on my wiring up there. And here's one last, not a pro, but kind of know what I'm doing tip. When you cut your wiring, cut them at different lengths. Okay? So whenever, if you do use the wire nuts, or even if you're using the lever nuts, there's no real fear of any of the wires touching because they're all cut at different lengths. So whenever you install them, they'll be good to go. Electrical tape. Okay, so now you can see we got our wiring hanging down. That's attached by the lever nuts up top to the house wiring. And if you look right here, I've pre-drilled the holes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have somebody help me hold the ballast up here, and then we're going to run the screws from the bottom up through the top. And then from the top side, we're going to put on the wing nuts. I'll see you up in the attic. Okay. Ballast base, check. Wing nuts, check. Flashlight, check. Well, where'd you guys go? Well, what the? Huh? Hey, there you are. I didn't even know you were up here. Well, what are you doing over there? You not gonna see anything. You gotta get back there. Okay, so we got our wing nut installed. like so. Just tighten it up a little bit. Should get tight. Actually.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now that both wing nuts are tight, should be able to tighten it up. Okay, now it's time to finish it up. Now, this piece has a big connector on it. You can just reconnect it. Click. And let there be light. Da, 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 da. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Techno lights have been deleted. I'm not a sponsor for any lever nut company, or let's be honest, any company rather. Just a fan. I do these videos just to share some knowledge and for entertainment, because honestly, I feel like the world needs more entertainment nowadays. Before we get out of here, comment down below. Let me know if you guys use these lever nuts, or if you're just a fan of using the old wing nut styles, and why you don't use lever nuts. I love the interaction on there. But I'm Buddy. It's 2 Alpha Tools. Bye for now.